There are no more clans. Communities no longer come together as a group who support and take care of each other. Society has forced people into isolation. With the support system, you will continue. Without a support system, you will continue to suffer and struggle. This results in living a fear-based life, and when you experience the ultimate disconnection. It's an illusion to believe that you are alone. You are never alone. We, your spirit guides and angels, have always been with you, guiding you, but you must slow down enough to realize it. Okay, so that's what we're talking about tonight. Who do we have on with us today, Ray?
Kathy and Kimberly so far.
You guys. Okay,
Any
so
questions or comments, just put them right in that feed.
yeah, and we want to hear from you guys. We did get a comment from Kathy today. I didn't print it out, okay, Ray? But we got a comment from Kathy on this post today about how having this connection with her spirit guides and angels and learning to do this pretty much recently in the last year. She learned it from using this talking board. She's actually mastered it pretty well as Joy and Veronica and some of the other group members that are beginning to get the hang of this. But it's this connection that you have with your guides, with those who followed you here into this life, those who came with you. You didn't just get dropped off in this life to fend for yourself. It's the people in this world that made you feel like that because they forgot about that connection. That connection got severed along the way. It's still there for them, but they have to wake up to it. They have to go back and reclaim it, you know, and have a system where they can practice so they can keep the connection, they can maintain the connection. With the people that we teach how to use this and how to use the journal, My Guided Journey, which is the companion journal to Guided, you keep the connection, you connect again, and then you maintain it, okay? And when you have this connection with your guides, every day, you don't need this with you every day. You don't need this every day. But in your day-to-day life, as you learn to make this connection and commit that 15 minutes to writing in your journal, working with your guides, focused on that one intention, what happens is you become connected as a byproduct of all that basic learning, okay, relearning. That reconnection is what you're really doing. It's not new to you. You came in with it. And that's what when you finally reclaim it, when you finally remember it, when you finally start making the connection again, it's not new, it's not foreign, it's familiar to the core of you. So it's all in this connection, and there is no such thing as loneliness and isolation, no matter what the outer world is doing, when you have this connection.
Yeah, and you always have it. It's always there. The guide said something today in the insight. It said, it's an illusion to believe that you are alone.
Right. And you know, here's what happens. When you reside in just this world, when this is where you are all the time, okay, and you never take that pause, that breath, that moment, okay, to shut it down, to stop all this, just for that small amount of time. When you wake up in the morning, before you jump out of bed and you start with your day and you've got, okay, and you just let yourself slumber in this zone of where you have that connection, okay, then you start to really bring these two things together, this world and the world you came from, and you start to put yourself back together again. This is what you need to do. It's not just, you don't just push this world away because you're here. You chose to come here, all right? So this is the consequence of coming here, where you risk losing that connection, but now you bring it back. And if you don't feel isolated and you don't feel alone anymore, it's because you're connected. What do we have there, Ray?
Okay. Kimberly's been getting some results with her board.
Okay, great.
Kimberly says, hello, everybody.
Speak up, Ray.
I've been using my board every day. Yeah, they're starting to talk to me.
I knew that was going to work for you, Kimberly. I really did. Watching you work with Kathy the other day, like I think it was last Wednesday, I watched that video. And you know what? You started getting it. You started connecting with this. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
She said last week she experienced seeing a spirit dancing around her room at 3 a.m. in the morning, and it woke her up.
Wow. Wow.
That's good.
Yeah, and it woke her up. It wanted to be noticed. It won't do that with everybody. The guides won't let you see them all the time. They will let the ones who see them because that person won't freak out. That person won't, panic. I didn't panic when I first saw my guides, all right?
Okay, she used the right words, too. It woke her up. The spirit was, you could see the spirit, it was there to wake you up.
I love that. Oh, my God. And that's what it does, you guys. You're just beginning to experience this whole thing, Kimberly. Whatever you do, Kimberly, I hope you have this journal, all right, My Guided Journey. And in part 3, you need to start documenting, sequentially, chronologically, what's going on with you and how this is beginning to show itself, all right? It's the other world that's beginning to bleed through into this reality, okay? And it's just beginning to happen, and you're handling it really well.
And Electa joined us from Oregon.
Cool,
She's up there with her family. Okay, Kimberly has a comment here. Yeah. She wants you to expand on, you started to say about sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't show up. She's wondering why they were there. Why did they show up at that time?
All right.
And
we're going to, okay, right there. Just let, is it just a little bit left of that question?
She was wondering why they were there.
Okay.
She asked her guys about it, but it still isn't clear. They didn't make it clear with her.
Okay, so Ray.
She was wondering what you thought.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, so I don't know why your guides decided exactly why they decided to show up, but you're going to find out right now. Your guides know, so we bring your guides through, your spirit guides and angels, those who were there when that happened, to explain this to you. And here they go, Kimberly.
We show ourselves when we need to reinforce with you that we are always around. There are many other ways we can use to get your attention, but when we want to make a strong point, we will appear and maybe dance around your room.
Yeah. So is this just, I'm going to ask a question for you on this, Kimberly. Is this just the beginning of more?
Of course, now that you have a connection with us that's getting stronger, we won't have to appear as often, but all you have to do is learn when and how to ask for help.
So when they appear, it takes a lot of energy for them to physically show up in that dimension, in this dimension here. When they showed up here, they were only, I turned around and they were, I say they because they see themselves and feel themselves as a collective, not as a single unit like we might feel we are in this dimension, in this illusion, you know. And when they showed up, I turned around and I had my camera in hand and I got the picture of them, and boom, they just dissipated. Okay, as gently as they showed up, they were gone. Just long enough for me to grab that photograph. So why didn't you have your camera?
It was 3 a.m.
Where was your camera? I don't care. Okay, you know, so in other words, what I'm saying, just a minute, Ray, and I'm going to let you speak, but the reason I'm saying that to you in kind of a funny way, expect them to be there. Expect them to speak to you. Expect them to even show up, all right? And if you can expect that, you won't be caught off guard the minute it happens and miss the moment, okay? In other words, miss the opportunity to maybe take that photograph if you have a camera in your hand, that moment to ask that question, even if you ask it with your thoughts, but it's a very deliberate, intentional thought. You put it out there, boom, they answer you right away. It comes right through. You know what the answer is. And I don't mean they sit there and they talk to you like that. I mean, it's so much, it's such a high vibration of communication known as telepathy. They speak it to you and it feels like it came from you because now you're connected. It feels like you because you are one with that, okay? That's where it gets a little bit confusing, but you're on your way, Kimberly. Good job.
And you have to expect it. People who don't expect to see them won't see them.
Or will be so surprised in the moment that they do show up that they'll miss that moment. They'll miss what was in that moment for them to get. Part of why you asked about what was it they really meant to convey when they did show up, that they just shared with you, you would have caught that if you weren't even a little bit surprised. If as time goes by, Kimberly, you're going to be less surprised by it. You'll be expecting it, like Ray just said, and you won't miss that moment. And you'll get the whole gist of the message. You'll be able to access it the instant they show up, or the instant you know they're there, or the intuition that you get, the insight, the dream you had, the telepathy you got, whatever. You're going to know what it is. You're going to get the answer to the question that you didn't even think you asked. But what you did is you asked the question in your thoughts. You may not have said it out loud. You may not have wrote it down, although you should do that, right? To really become conscious. They will come through and they will respond to that question by giving you the answer, and you'll go, wow, I didn't even have a chance to ask the question, but you did think it. Okay. It's interesting how it works. This world functions different than this one does, all right?
Okay, so Kimberly says she's going to start sleeping with her camera. So next time she's going to get that picture.
With a flash.
With a big flash. And she felt very much at peace and felt loved and safe when they showed up.
That you've got the right. Your guides have nothing. You've got no resistance up, so they've got nothing to work through to try to get through because they're not pushy. They won't force themselves on you. You have to be open to it. They have to be able to reach you. If there's fear and all this kind of stuff, it's like a bunch of doors closed with all these locks on them. They can't reach you, but you're not coming from that energy. So you're halfway there. You're more than halfway there, Kimberly.
So can we talk a little bit about isolation and loneliness and being alone?
Well, this is what we're talking about. This is talking about it, Ray. When you're connected, the last thing you will ever be is isolated and alone. It's not possible, all right?
Okay, Kathy says she's so excited to see that Kimberly is starting to get results. She knows that there's so many others out there who are going to start getting results too. It just takes consistency, daily practice, and joining the group practices that'll boost the energy up so you can learn how to connect.
Let me fill in the blanks for those of you who don't know what the group is. Kathy was the teacher last Wednesday with Kimberly, all right? And although Kimberly stumbled in the beginning and wasn't sure, Kathy gave her all the time she needed to talk it out, to feel it out, to hear what Kathy was talking about and helping her with, but gave Kimberly time to digest it and connect with it. Okay, so this group is called Ask the Universal Channel group. It's a secret group. It's real private.
Yeah, we'll be in a few days, I think.
Yeah. No, it's secret now.
Is it secret now?
I already changed it.
Okay.
Yeah. And we went from private to secret. That way everyone who's in the group can really feel,
Privacy.
safe. Privacy is important, especially when you're learning to do something as intimate as this. And Kathy, Joy, and Veronica all belong to this Ask the Universal Channel group, and they are the teachers. They're the students of Ask the Universal Channel that teach people who come in new. You have to get one of these talking boards. We've got 3 versions of it. We've got the printable version, the online digital version, and we've got the official version, which is what Ray and I use professionally, okay, in everything that we do. So either version, any one of those versions, you have one, you've got the tool to work with, and then you've got the free lessons each week, and the channeled, they do channeled insights each week or every other week. They may do it more often as time goes by. The students, they're calling the shot on that deal. We don't tell them what to do. And they're having great results with this. Everybody who's coming to learn from them they're learning at their own pace, okay? Some learn faster than others. And some of the others that take a little bit, they're there for a while, they come back in another couple of weeks or 3 months or a month or so. They're still learning. They're just learning in a different way, okay? And they keep coming.
Since the group is now secret, tell them how they get in the group. How do they ask to get into the group?
Well, what you want to do is email us at info@channeledreadings.com and ask to join the group. And when you do that, if you don't know how to get one of these, Ray handles those emails, and he'll send you the information on how to get it, and then you can join the group and you can involve yourself. These guys are teaching on Sundays and Wednesdays, and like every other Thursday, they're teaching you guys how to do this. Free lessons from the students of Ask the Universal Channel that learned from us, from Ray and I. All right. So these guys are heading up the group now. These guys are strong. They've really got this thing, and they use this, and they use it with either the planchette or with their pendulums. So it's fascinating, you guys. And this is a connection that once you make it, just like what Kimberly was talking about tonight, they're never lonely or isolated. Not anymore. Not since they have this connection with their guides. No matter who you're around or not around in this world, no matter who supports you or doesn't support you in this world, you've got your team back. You've got your spirit guides and your angels back, and others who you have a connection to. It's a huge community, huge, okay? And you guys are just beginning to touch on it. It's going to get fascinating. Anything you need to know about anything, on command, you'll know about it.
She loves the group. Kimberly,
I know.
Who else joined us? Joy's with us now. Hi, Joy.
Joy.
I was thinking about, what does it feel like when you're isolated? And I came up with a couple you don't have a support system.
Right, exactly.
You feel you don't have a support system.
In this group, can I interject? Mm-hmm. In this group, this is the most loving support system that maybe you've ever experienced. And I'm not making this up. This is not a sales job. This is the truth. These guys are loving support and guidance, and they know exactly where you're getting off track. They know where you're missing it. They take you through that. It's like the thread through the needle. It's a direct connection that they help you make based on you, just on you. Everybody's different. So they walk each and every one of you through a process that's intimate to you, all right?
And once you get in the group, they should watch the video with Joy and Veronica and Kathy.
Oh, I know, Ray. It's awesome.
It's how they learned. It's what they realized as they were learning.
Yeah, and that video was just done
Last week.
It was done last Thursday. Okay, so go. You can't see Ask a Universal Channel Group until you email Ray and I, info@channelreadings.com, and ask to join. So,
well, you can go to the channelreadings.com, our other website, and
yeah,
click at the button on the top, and it'll open up your email,
and you can go right from there. And there you can see all the versions of the talking board right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And the printable one looks just like this one.
Yeah.
Same size, same color, and everything. And the online version is something you can put on your phone or your tablet.
Right.
So a lot of people have either this one or the printable one, and they have the online one, so they have it with them all the time. And
Yeah,
they can use their pendulum.
Yeah, and people have the online one so that they can practice 15 minutes a day. This might not be as easy to take along, although it is, pretty tight and small. But the online one is real covert and private, and you can practice anytime you want to,
This one is the only one that's optimized, the only one in the world that's optimized for use with a pendulum.
Right.
It's like 8-inch diameter, and all talking boards throughout history are big.
Yeah.
And you can't use them with a pendulum.
No, the guides actually came up with this format through my dreams and showed me what they wanted, and that's how this came about. So it's kind of hard. It's getting harder for us to do our insights every week on Tuesdays, Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, without bringing this up. It comes up more because more of the people, the readers of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, started out with my flagship book, Guided, and then one thing led to another, and they found this, and then they joined the group, and here they are. They're doing amazing.
Okay, Kimberly says she gets the 111s all the time, but she also gets the letters D, F, I. What does that mean? Maybe they know.
D, F, I. Okay, let's just see what they say, Ray.
Don't feel isolated.
I got intimidated.
Yeah.
So we're working on isolation today, but what I really felt come through was, why did I feel that?
Because many are intimidated by the fact that it takes some work to learn how to channel.
Right. And that's something Kathy was made clear to you, Kimberly. I remember her talking to you about it on Thursday. It just takes some dedication. And then once you it's like getting over that hump, and then you just start to ascend. You start really connecting with this, and it's not the effort it was when you first began.
So Kathy says, it's such a comfort to know if I have a problem, I can go to the guides for advice. I know what a blessing it is to have that connection. Kimberly said, this is for the first time in her life, she feels that she has a connection with the universe.
I know. I know the feeling. This is its 30-year anniversary, by the way. It was produced in 1989. So it's 30 years later, and Ray and I haven't pushed it. We haven't really. We didn't want to do that. We had to get people that were. This is what did it. People connected with this, and then they realized that they just it changed them. I don't know what to say about it, but it woke them up, and then they were ready to make this connection. All right, you can make the connection in many ways. You can use your journal and write in your journal, and when you do that, the guides speak through you. You'll see where they infiltrate your writing. It will show up on those pages. All right, you can catch it in your dreams. You can catch it in the shower when you're taking a shower, and boom, the information just comes through. The guidance they love to come through when you feel good, like you have that warm water all over you, or you're doing something mindless, right? You're not so preoccupied that they can't reach you. So there's many ways, and this just happens to be a way where you want to know something, you come over to the talking board, and you summon your guides, and they speak with you. That's pretty good. That's amazing.
Okay, Linda, we have another Veronica with us. So there's two Veronicas out there.
There can't be, Ray.
Okay, Veronica Jeffries. Hi, Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
She wants to know, what kind of group is this? She just joined.
Oh,
sounds interesting.
Oh, good.
So just tell her the difference between Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights and the teaching.
Tonight, we're talking about Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. And you can get those, you can sign up for Linda's Weekly Guided Insights on my website, lindadeir.com, DEIR.com. And sign up for the insights. You'll see it at the very top. What are Linda's Weekly Guided Insights? Click on it and just sign up. It's free. You get these every Tuesday,
right.
These insights that we're talking about today. We're talking about loneliness and isolation. And that's what the guides, they decide, my spirit guides decide what they're going to talk to you all about on Tuesdays, each Tuesday, as they see that you need to know what they're conveying to you. Its timing is right, okay? And so that's for Tuesdays. And we meet with you Tuesday nights, just like right now, and let you talk to us about what this insight holds for you. Your spirit guides and angels come through and speak with you about that, okay? So that's Tuesdays.
Tuesday night. It's a channeled message. This is what it looks like. The guides come through with a channeled message, and then Linda has a paragraph about how it works and how you apply it to your life.
Right.
So that's Tuesday nights.
So sign up for that. And then Wednesday nights, are we talking about Wednesday night?
We can, yes.
Okay, Wednesday night is same place, same time, right here on Facebook. We talk about we take your questions about taking the journey in My Guided Journey, and we also cover questions around my journal writing, which is the third book, all right, part 3 of this system. And that's where you keep track of your daily insights, the daily guidance that's coming through. Like tonight, Kimberly came through with a question around, it would apply to my journal writing, okay, where she is going to document what happened each day, you know, the interesting things coming through, the guidance coming through, and what did it mean? And I want to talk to my guides about what they meant by that. Tonight, Kimberly talked about her guide showing up literally in her bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Dancing around, and wanted to know what that was about. So we channeled her guides and let them speak to her about why they did that, okay? Because they don't just show up to be silly, but they don't want to scare you. They never would do that, okay? So they knew Kimberly could handle it. So you come to us on Tuesdays and find out what Linda's Weekly Guided Insight for that week holds for you by asking your guides. And on Wednesday, you talk about, like what Kimberly talked about tonight, you talk about, you know, these two books about how you are working through the process in taking the journey and writing in your journal and wanting to know what these insights are that are beginning to come through for you, so you can better understand what your spirit guides and angels intended to convey. Because in the beginning, you won't quite get it, all right? Thursdays are 6 p.m. Pacific on Ask the Universal Channel group. And it's like every other Thursday that we do that, but throughout the week, the students of Ask the Universal Channel, Sundays, Wednesdays, and every other Thursdays or so, they teach you how to do this. They actually have a session with you just like this, but private, on Zoom, like we're on Zoom right now doing this video, live video for you guys. And you guys are all, it's like the Brady Bunch. You guys are all on the panel with each other as you tilt your computer screen down and can see how each one of you are channeling the information as you write it down and compare notes with each other. It's really, really well. It's
powerful.
Really well oiled.
Right.
These students of Ask the Universal Channel have really connected with this as they channel the messages, and they help you channel with them. So you're never left out, and there's no stupid question, and there's nothing that you do that's right or wrong. Everybody learns the way they learn, and everybody learns from each other. I'll tell you what I thought was interesting. Kimberly, you used something like this the other day. As you hung your pendulum around this and let it dangle, you held it like this. You know this was a system when they used reeds and baskets.
Reeds and rice.
And they used systems like this where you let it hang from the center and they let it swing and spell out. It would actually, like automatic writing, would spell out in the sand the messages. That was interesting. Now, you guys have never heard me talk about that, have you? There's so much to learn, and it's so much fun. I just want you guys to stay with this or this pendulum, because doing it this way is arduous. I mean, it takes so much energy and time, where if you use your pendulum or you use this, way faster. All right? Yeah.
Okay, we have another new person, Christine. Hi, Christine. She says hello. Glad you could be with us.
Hi, everyone.
Christina.
Yeah.
All right. Kimberly says, Kathy says, I know what you mean. You want to shout about the connection. You want to shout about it from the rooftops, but if people are not in the right vibrational level to hear it, they won't understand. And Kimberly says, yep, they look at me like I'm crazy.
Well, that's always the case. It doesn't matter how you're making the connection to your guides. You could just have a dream and say, oh my God, I had this dream. And people would look at you like that aren't connected, that are just invested 100% in this world and don't remember where they came from. They don't remember the connection. They don't remember the team they brought along with them, the one they planned this life with, to see them through it, to guide them the whole time. They just don't remember it. So they're going to look at you and go, like you fell off, a spaceship or something. I'll tell you what, in the living room, when my guide appeared, my family members were all around me. When I took that photograph, I didn't have time to go look, I took the photograph and they dissipated, and I turned around and I said to everyone, I said, did you see that?
Naturally, they didn't see that.
Of course they didn't see that. And they looked at me like I was cuckoo, right? Well, that's another reason I kept it to myself until 62 years old, you guys, until I came out.
Yeah. So, I mean, but when you took that photograph in 1992, you'd already seen him for 40 years.
I had, right.
Seen him since before you were two.
So it was not a surprise to me. I didn't panic. I took their photograph, right?
Yeah. My hands would have been shaking so bad if I turned around and saw a 7-foot spirit guy behind me. I would have dropped the camera. Okay. Kimberly has an observation about when you use the pendulum, does it feel like there's electricity going through your fingers?
There could be. Everybody's different, okay? I'll tell you one thing you'll feel the pull, and you really feel it with this.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Kimberly made a comment in the one video about using the speller. That's why she went to the pendulum, that it was pulling her.
That means you have a strong connection using this.
Right. It
catches you by surprise.
This works on the principles of dowsing. If you were out dowsing for water with dowsing sticks, you would feel, when you got near water, you would feel the sticks pull.
Right.
Okay? This is the same thing. If you feel like a push sensation when you're doing this, that's you.
That's you.
That's you trying to force it.
Right.
You want to feel the pull.
Yeah.
See, that's why when Linda and I do it, there's no chance that we could both push.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. You guys are learning together on Ask the Universal Channel Secret Group. Okay. And that's a great way to learn. You're going to learn from, because of the group energy. You need the group energy to pull with. All right. When I asked the guides, I said to them one time, I said, why is this so much easier to do with someone as opposed to doing it by yourself? They said, and this has cracked me up when they said this, they said, it's easier to dig a ditch with someone than by yourself. So in other words, it's the energy. When you get together with another person, like with the group, It's not just, let's say you have 2 other people in the group, or 3 or 4 that are with you practicing in the group. It's more energy than just the 3 or 4 people or 2 people. It's amplified many-fold bigger than that. Mm-hmm. When you're working with this energy. It's so much different, because I think what happens here, you guys, and a lot of it I'm still, wondering about too. When you come together with like 2 or 3 other people in the group and you're learning, and they're in a lesson with you, right? By the way, those lessons are free, you guys, when you're a member of this secret group. But what happens is they bring their guides in, guides plural. Okay, so you've got 3 people there, and Kathy may have brought in 5 of her guides, okay, and she's already a powerhouse. Joy may have brought in, 6 of her guides, and she's a powerhouse. I mean, these guys, and then you've come in, and you've got your guides with you, and you've got all this added energy coming through. You can't miss. It's like something you don't expect, is what I have to say. When it happens, you really don't expect it, and then you have that one epiphany, you have that one breakthrough, and you're on your way. The group energy is everything. Now, they want to talk about this, and I have the insight here to go over this, right. But I know that's what you guys need to talk about. The whole point is when you have this connection, the connection, you are never isolated and alone, and you know it. So it's connected to this insight in that way, because, people in this world, you guys, they've lost their connection to, first of all, to themselves. I want you to know that when I wrote Guided, in chapter 1, what I learned is where they guided me to go as a little tiny baby was to know me first. Okay. And I had these times where, like in the sandbox, a little baby, right out in the sandbox, I'd be crying and playing and speaking to them in their presence. I'd have this total conversation with them. You remember doing that. If you think back, you'll remember you did that too. And every child does it. And the reason they do it is they came from that connection. Okay? They came from a place where they were loved unconditionally, never judged, always supported. Okay? All the time. And we always they always received the truth from their guides. Always. So in this world, people can't handle the truth. Okay? That's why they're lonely and isolated. They pull in, they don't trust anybody, they don't trust themselves. So how can they trust someone else? You gotta be connected to yourself first, and the byproduct of that, the natural byproduct, without any effort on your part, is the connection to your guides. It's just the way it works.
Right. These people who are disconnected, and I would go out on a limb here, probably not too far on that limb, but I would say the 80-20 rule applies to people who are not disconnected and connected. 20% are connected, 80% are not connected.
Yeah, I think that's probably true, and it's better than it's been.
Right,
it is.
It's growing. But some of the characteristics, when I read through this week's insight about loneliness and isolation, is what kind of toll does it take on people when they're isolated? Now, you can be isolated on an island. You could be alone, stranded on an island. You're alone, you're isolated. But what happens to people who are isolated, like in prison? They're in solitary confinement for years. Yeah. Some of the things that happen are some of the things I see happening to society in general. Like they lose their ability to their impulse control. They snap. They have no control over their impulses. How many people snap now when somebody cuts them off and they shoot them? Or,
So they become, here's what I'm getting from what Ray's saying, is they become more fragile.
Right. They lose their impulse control. They can't maintain concentration. They have inability to concentrate, inability to control their emotions. They have panic attacks.
Yeah.
A lot of people have...
it's huge.
A A lot of people like to live alone, but that's not necessarily bad. Being alone can be powerful if
you know how to harness it.
Right. It's a superpower.
It is a superpower, but people miss that because they're disconnected.
Right.
It comes back down to this thing about being connected, you guys, until you experience it. Let me put it this way. Once you experience it, you will never, ever experience loneliness and isolation ever again. If you're alone, it's out of choice. Okay? If you go and spend time on a deserted island, isolation, right? It's because you want to. It's not because you're cut off from society. It's because you needed a reprieve. You needed a timeout. All right. You're in control. When you know who you are, you're not running from yourself. Okay. Because you're connected, you're now connected. You're reconnected. You're not running from anything. A loneliness and isolation is running from something.
Right. It dawned on me as I read through this today that being disconnection equals loneliness. Because when you're disconnected, you think nobody cares. You're disconnected from your guides, you're disconnected from society, you're disconnected from everything.
It's like you lose hope.
Right.
That's what it's like. You kind of drag yourself into the next day, literally drag yourself into another day to tolerate another day. Okay, another day. That's not why you're here. That's missing the whole point in why you came here. What else do we have, honey?
Let's see. Kimberly says that's how her religion explained why that's true, because the spirit was so strong in the room during the meeting. Yeah. When you see a spirit appear right in front of you, you focus all your attention on that.
So what does she mean by the religion? What is the religion?
She grew up with religion.
But did it say that? No. Oh.
Kathy says, so much anxiety in the world right now. Yep. That makes sense. It seems like there's a lot of hopelessness.
Okay, here's what's going on. This isolation, this loneliness and isolation and this hopelessness, because it is what it turns into. It is where it resides. Okay, that type of thing. You know what it is, you guys? This is going to sound so crazy, but this is what it is. People have been migrating toward this, and it's been developing, and it's been getting more and more the case over decades, okay? And it's finally at a breaking point. And that's guidance, guiding us all in a direction to get our attention once and for all, to get us to start realizing, I am not going on like this. I'm not going to live like this. Some people mask it by taking drugs, by becoming alcoholics and stuff like that. But it's still, they're missing the message. They're missing what the guidance is really the guidance has been trying to get through to them. This way and that way and this other way and this other way. And they never give up. They're relentless. This is your soul trying to get your attention so you don't miss your life, the one you intended to live before you got here. That's what's going on. And you keep missing it. Not you guys, but society keeps missing it and missing it. And so the guides, in their desperation to reach you, trying to come at you this way and that way. And a lot of people just give up. There's that hopelessness. And resort to some things that aren't good for them. All right. But really what it's meant to do is when the pain gets so much that you just go, I'm not going to do that anymore. Whatever I have to do, I'll quit my job. I will change where I live. I'll get away from family members that are dragging me down. Yeah, that type of thing. I'm going to do whatever it takes, but I will no longer live like that. And I'm going to trust my universe that I'm going to stumble into my answers if I just let go of the things that keep me there. Okay? And that's what it's really doing. That's guidance in its last-ditch effort to get their attention.
Exactly. You know, people say to themselves, well, why do I struggle all the time in my life? And
I know.
when I seem to be right to the edge, they send me some more struggle. Well, that's guidance trying to get your attention that you're not supposed to go that way.
See, you didn't come here to struggle and
Right.
suffer. And when you make this connection to your guides, when you're connecting with yourself, when you make, and I want to call what this is, Ask Universal Channel, is most importantly a personal development tool. You find out about yourself first. The guides always take you into that first because you can't trust yourself if you don't know yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, you can't discern between who can be trusted and who can't be, okay? You've got no basis to work from because you're not present. You're not present when you don't trust yourself. And if you're not present, your connection to your guides is severed because they reside in the present moment. That's the only place they reside. So if you're not present, you're missing. But if you're present, now you're making the connection. There it is.
I've been thinking about what's been happening to me lately about Kimberly getting one of her guys to show up at 3 a.m. in the morning and dancing for her, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do that, but they do other things to get your attention. Like in the last, year, they've thrown a glass of water in my face.
They did.
I had a glass of water in my hand. I was getting ready to.
Ray, here, let me say something before that, all right? Ray is a work in progress. We all are, right? I love this guy, all right. But sometimes he can be stubborn. Guys.
Taurus rising.
He can be stubborn. No, Taurus moon, Ray.
Taurus moon.
Virgo rising.
Virgo
Leo
rising.
sun.
Leo.
So sometimes Ray he doesn't know why he does it, but it's like he kind of falls back into this old, nonsense. We all do it, you guys. Be nice to yourself. When you do catch yourself doing something like that, get your journal out in part 3, my journal writing, and tell on yourself so you can catch it when it happens. Because the sooner you do that, the faster you're going to recover from it. It's not going to happen again. So Ray wasn't listening, and I would say to him, well, Ray, da-da-da. And he'd go, yeah, and he wasn't listening, right? But, I'm not going to push it down his throat. He's going to get it one way or the other.
So I'm in the bathroom. I'm getting ready to take vitamins or an aspirin or something like that, and I have a glass of water in my hand.
Which you usually never fill up to the top.
Right, plastic
Remember
glass.
that?
The good thing was a plastic glass, and it had about that much water in it, and I picked it up to take the pill or the vitamin, and somebody hit my hand
At the bottom.
real hard. It went all over my face, all the way down the front of me, all over the mirror, all over the floor, all over everywhere.
I love those guides.
Yeah.
I
okay.
said,
Well, that got my attention. Now, who did that?
and I just said to his guides, I go, thank you, because I tried everything.
You didn't try throwing water in.
And he was, well, I'm not going to hit you with pans and everything, right?
Yeah, you could.
So it's funny how this stuff works out, you guys. They're with you. And the more you open to this, the more you work in that way, the more they're present because you're present, because you're beginning to get it. What do we have, Ray? And then we're going to wrap this. We're going to get into our closing message.
Oh, Kathy says, always ask the guides to remember your dreams.
Now that's a good point. Okay, so what Kathy's saying, my guided journey, you want it part 3, my journal writing. You want to, before you go to bed at night, you want to open it up. You want to write down your question. Write down your question and mark it off. Up here it says the date. Write your date down and mark off the one that says dreams. There's these little boxes here that ask you to identify how this guidance is coming through. All right? And you write that down. Then you take and you put your pen inside your book and leave it right there. See, it's right there marking my page. And you put it on your side table. And you just think about that question as you release it to your guides. And they've got you on that. All right. And be open to what the guidance is when it comes through. Another thing that you might want to do is you might want to add to this question that I am open to the truth. I can handle the truth. I want you to send me the truth about this question. Because I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, don't tell me anything bad. They're interpreting the truth as something bad. The truth is never bad, all right? It may not be, what they tell you may take, now you've got to do some work. What they tell you might involve, you've got to make some changes. It might involve things that make it a little bit, inconvenient for you at the time or whatever, but it's still that truth, okay? Do you want the truth or not? If you don't ask the question. That's all I can say to you, all right? So if you're all in and you're good with this and you're ready to quit suffering and struggling, then the truth will be okay with you. All right.
The guys even said one time, I like the way they said, we are not respecters of your convenience.
Yeah, because they just they're two things. They're love and truth.
Right.
They love you unconditionally. They're here to help you, and they will never lie to you. They will always tell you the truth. How many people in this world are that articulate, that are that
honest,
fair, and real with you?
The guys always say that love and truth are the same thing, because
that's right.
When they tell you the truth, you feel loved.
You know that you've been given a gift.
That somebody cares.
I mean, really cares.
Which is the opposite of loneliness.
That's right, Ray. That's exactly right. So, you guys, what a fun session this was. Couldn't help but bring this up. I mean, it just kind of pulled it out of us. And, that it moved in that direction. Before the Spirit Guides bring through their closing message for today's insight, we want to let you know about tomorrow, Wednesday, May 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Join me live right here on my Facebook page, Linda Deir Author. Your Spirit Guides and I will be answering your email questions live. The topic this week is going to be Groundhog Days. We unravel the repetitive issues in your life, why it keeps happening, and how to heal it. So what I want you to do is send your questions to linda@lindadeir.com and send those questions to me no later than late tomorrow morning, all right? Because we do have some questions that came in already, and we take, Ray picks the questions, all right? So we're going to answer 2 questions tomorrow live, and your guides are going to speak with you about that question. They are going to answer your question, all right? And it's going to be based on, I'm going to say it one more time, Groundhog Days, that repetitive type of issue that keeps coming up in your life. Your guides are going to tell you why it keeps happening and what you can do to heal it. And that's the question.
Like an example. Like, why do I keep picking a wrong relationship?
There you go.
Why do I keep working at jobs I hate?
That would be perfect.
That would be good.
Anything that's repetitious that you keep going, please, not another day of this, okay? That's what you want to ask a question around. Send me your questions, all right? Okay, so then next Tuesday, and I want to just interject for a minute. Ask the Universal Channel secret group. They have, and when you're a member of the group, ask to join by emailing me at info@channeledreadings.com, or go to channeledreadings.com like Ray suggested, and you'll see all the versions of Ask the Universal Channel there. And where it says ask to join, you can click there and it'll open an email, and you can just say, I want to join your group. Let me know.
And I'll send you some information.
Because they have their lessons every Sunday, Wednesday, and every other Thursday. Lots of action on that group. And they will even do a private session with you if you're new and you feel a little bit shy. The students of Ask the Universal Channel will do a one-on-one with you on Zoom. You guys, free, okay? The best lessons you'll ever get on how to make this connection. It's a no-brainer, okay? So next Tuesday, right here on Facebook Live, May 28th, on my Facebook page, Linda, Deir Author. This will be a Q&A and commentary with me and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time. In Linda's weekly guided insights for next week, my spirit guides will be talking about when you are not accepted for who you are. Is who you are really who you are? Or is it someone you made up so you could be accepted? Look at the people you hang out with. Do you fit in because you made compromise to who it is that you really are? Secretly, do you beat yourself up over this? How about the people you work with or your family and friends? Do they judge you for who you are when you are being authentic? That's another situation where you let yourself go in a direction that wasn't true to you. You weren't true to yourself. Why did you do that? It's because you didn't know who you were. You didn't have enough time to figure out who this is before everybody started making their demands on you from this world, okay? They needed you to, shape up and get it right. They needed you to, quit being a baby. Stop crying about that. They needed you to work in something in their world where it was comfortable for their world, all right? When you did that, when you went that way, you threw this away. You pushed it away. You can't really throw it away because your guides are always there, even if you think they're not, even if you push them away. They're just on standby, just kind of waiting for you to get it, all right? Waiting for you to be ready. So they just forgot about their guides. They forgot that they're not alone. They panic in this world. Oh, you have to get that education. Oh, you have to get that job. Oh, it's all about all this hype and this loudness and, this fear that has a grip on everybody. Okay, over here, it doesn't even respond to that. It knows you're powerful. It wants you to remember yourself. So there's nothing to fear, you guys. There's nothing in this world, there's nothing that could ever hurt you here, because after all, this is not all there is. That's another thing you're going to realize. There's so many things we've been taught that need to be unlearned. And I'm going to go back to this. This is a personal development tool via your spirit guides and angels coming through to help you unlearn some of this stuff that's wrong information, all right?
That's how you get stuck.
You have epiphanies, you have realizations. They don't tell you anything. They educate you, but they don't tell you anything. You come to your own conclusions. You become self-realized. That's how you know it's true or not. If it's not self-realized, if you're not catching it, you're either not ready or it's not true.
And that's how those Groundhog Days happen. A long time ago, you got taught the wrong thing.
And you're still trying to fit in.
Right. Well, you took that wrong information you were taught most likely when you were a child.
I agree.
And growing up. And they taught you the wrong things, not that they wanted to, but that's what they were taught. And that's what their
It's innocent most of the time.
Right. And then what happens is you took those things that were wrong, that you were taught, and those became your belief systems that you made all your decisions on throughout your life. And you wonder why I keep making decisions, but
they don't feel good.
They're wrong.
They don't feel. Groundhog Day tells you that it doesn't feel good.
Right.
Okay.
Why am I stuck?
And when you don't feel good, you guys, there's nothing wrong with you. For the first time in a long time, something's right with you.
Right.
Because you're getting the guidance. That's the point. That's the guidance. Now that you have the information, make that course correction and walk that way. Will it be scary in the beginning? Definitely. Okay, so get over it. Get used to it. It's okay. This journal will get you through it. Write it in your journal, part 2. Take the journey so that your legs don't Don't shake as you're moving through this, okay? You're not without your guidance. You're not without help. You're not without support. You have it, okay? You've been working so hard to fit into just this world that you really did forget about the one you came from, the one that you go back to when you're released from all this. This is the big illusion here, okay? So don't, lighten up. Let it flow, let it go, and reconnect and get to know who this is first, okay? After that, everything else is a byproduct of that. The guidance is there. You're present. Your guides are always in the present moment. You can't miss. Okay, we're going to close this session with their closing message to you about today's insight, and that's loneliness and isolation. And here they go. Whoops. Whoops. Whoops.
Are you pushing?
It's just running from me.
Running around
okay,
here.
It's really fast tonight.
It's moving like crazy.
Yeah.
You are. Notice how they did that shorthand. The letter U and the letter R. Sometimes they'll do that, you guys. Or they'll use two, not the number two, to say two.
You are.
You are never alone. You always have a support system with us. You have someone who cares, and you are never lonely and feel that nobody cares. That's not true. It is an illusion to feel that you are alone. We are here. You must ask, walk with us.
You just have to remember that your intuitive muscles have atrophied. They atrophied from not using them. Okay, let's look at your intuitive muscles going again. The group energy will really get it going again. All right. My guided journey, taking the journey in part 2, will wake it all back up again, because it's something you're going to remember. It's not something new.
You don't have to learn it.
No.
You just have to remember it.
You're going to remember it. And then part 3, where you keep the journal writing going, so you track your progress and some of your setbacks. Write it all in there, you guys, because the sooner you identify these things and you take it out of here and you put it in here, it doesn't have you anymore. It can't control you anymore. You have harnessed it. You have identified it. And now you can refer back to it. You can refer back to it and see where you get off track and see where you're getting it, where you're really connecting with this, okay? This accelerates the process. That's why I wrote this book, companion journal to my flagship book, award-winning, best-selling book, Guided. That's why this came about. The readers of this book were relentless in asking me how I make this connection to my guides, Linda. This and this. And getting with us on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And when we're there on Thursdays, sometimes we're there with the group, the private group on Ask the Universal channel on Thursdays. And you'll see us there with them, hosting the group, helping them, because we get a lot of interest in it and a lot of people wanting to learn it, or they're doing a special session for the people, the members of the group. It's growing and changing all the time. And why is it doing that? Because the guides are guiding us all. Ray, do you and I have all the answers?
No, apparently not. They're throwing water at me. And
that's right. The guides come through and they go, well, we'd like you to consider doing this now. we'd like you to consider doing that now. It is the coolest, you guys. Don't miss it. We'll see you guys next week.
And maybe tomorrow.
And maybe tomorrow. And then maybe throughout the week on Ask the Universal Channel Group. Ask to join, info@channelreadings.com.
And sign up for Linda's Weekly Guided Insights at lindadeir.com.
There you go.
lindadeir.com, the #1 website in the world for any spiritual author.
I know. It's amazing. Incredible engagement.
Yep.
You guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next week, and we'll just keep seeing you all the time.
We will. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Be kind.